Welcome back to Blake's Takes, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode. And in place of my co-host today, we have a special guest. Some might call him the biggest Dark of the Moon fan in the world, maybe a Dark of the Moon apologist. Some may say he is the leader of the Interstellar Hate Fan Club, but you may know him as Alex Coleman on TikTok.
You flatter me. You flatter me. You absolutely flatter me with that intro.
Good intro?
Great intro.
I try. And today we are doing a ranking of the Transformers franchise, which I know you're a huge fan of. This is your franchise.
Growing up, Transformers, massive. I mean, I loved, Star Wars, MCU, everything. That's all great for big franchises. But Transformers, cartoons, the Bayverse movie, like these were my stuff.
You watched the cartoons as a kid?
Oh, of course.
See, I didn't watch the cartoons as a kid. So I've never been like a huge Transformers guy, but I watched the first two Michael Bay ones religiously growing up.
Well, understandably so.
Yeah.
The first two I feel like are the most like, I get, honestly, even with two, well received. And it's kind of shocking to me. I mean, the first one I feel like is honestly a classic. But we're going to get into that anyways.
We'll get into that.
I feel like it's from 3 and onwards, people get a little shaky, but I mean...
Yep.
I'm here to remind people that there's no apologist with the Dark of the Moon. It's only it's only appreciation here. It's only one love.
It might not be as an apologist as I say so, because it's got some flavor to it at least.
Sauce, big sauce.
Well, first I want just the audience to get to know you. So when did you create your channel? Because it's funny because I've been a fan of your channel for a while, but I just realized that we also were in the same area because you go to UCF, which is where I went to school. And I was like, what the fuck? I had no idea. We got to get this guy on the podcast, man.
Literally. And I'm leaving soon. So it's like the perfect timing, honestly, before I graduate. But yeah, I started my page, 2022, like April. I mean, I had a TikTok before, but I never took it. Like I never posted on it like that. But I did have like a viral video that happened where I had like 5,000 followers instantaneously when I started deciding to post in like April of 2022. I started posting like MCU comic book stuff because like it's what I liked at the time. I just wanted to talk about stuff. And then obviously, like I was realizing, like I love movies. I'd rather just like talk more about, more than just, comic book stuff. And then started posting a lot of posting, a lot of like daily grinding. And, now we're here. Now we've clearly made it because I'm on this podcast now.
I mean, you have over 400,000 followers on TikTok. So you've done some good work.
It's honest work.
I feel you.
Just trying to be better every day.
I feel you. What was the first viral video for you that got?
Okay, the first one, but this is what was when I wasn't really posting, was I made a video calling certain shows mid, one of which was like Grey's Anatomy, the other being,
I mean, that's
what was the other thing? Riverdale, and then something else, and that like decided to blow up, but I wasn't posting. And then other than that, I think, actually no, I do remember I did like a Does Anyone Remember, and it was like a Max Steel. If anyone remember that cartoon show,
really?
And they got like 2 million views or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, did I just really like make it in life?
I remember seeing your Cartoon Network show video blowing up.
That one, I had so many stitches about like,
really?
Because I mean, that's
it's like if you hit a topic too that so many people having opinions on or very nostalgic about, you get more and more people in the comments, and that's just going to get the views rolling as well.
I think that video, has like 30K comments. And one of them was from Cartoon Network, which I was like...
Really?
Because I did earlier of 2023, I had like Ben 10 vids blow up. And then I had like cartoon because I grew up on this stuff. I was like, let me talk about it. And I just really wanted them to respond because I was like, Cartoon Network, I love you guys. Like, please just like acknowledge me.
Yeah.
But but yeah, they commented, but I didn't notice because there were so many comments and it never showed, like the system never showed it. And then I go back like months later, I scroll because I was like, I'm just curious who's saying there. Like Shaq's son was commenting on there because that's what happens when you have an absurd viral video. And I see Cartoon Network respond and say, "Oh, we'd like to see more. Like we'd like to see your like top 20." And I go, fuck? "Well, it's late now. It's over. my moment passed. I'm washed now."
No, it's funny because I'll have friends say like, "Oh, I commented on your video," and I'm like, "Man, I mean, I try to keep up, but sometimes there's so many fucking comments."
Yeah, there's a lot, and also sometimes I feel like I don't want to like dig too deep in comments because if they're like bad, you know what I mean. Yeah. But even then, I kind of find.
How have you dealt with that? Because I really don't pay too much attention to like negative comments. That's a reason why I don't try to get too deep into the comments, because I just don't. I'm not gonna let that affect me, but also I don't want to even let it get to a point where it could.
No, yeah, I think social media is its own thing. It's different from the real world.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice to like talk to people that want to like
100%.
say something nice and like respond because like it's an interaction. It's stuff like I think I started my page because I wanted to have more people to talk about movies with, and like now I have like a bunch of people that I can just yap with, and that's the best part about it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like it's so fucking cool. Like we met through TikTok. You're on the podcast now. Like we've created friends through TikTok, being on the Movie Talk. You know, you got Real Talk, George, Tyler, Seth, all them. I got friends out in California with the Escape Pod now. So now you just have all these friends like across the country, and that would have never even have happened without this.
It's actually absurd. Yeah. I have so many great people that I know from Film Talk. I want to go and rattle them all off, but like now
you know who you are.
You all know who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just phenomenal. So many good friends, like great friends now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be here if I didn't, do TikTok.
It's a really cool thing.
So yeah, don't ban the app, please. I know brain rot is a thing, but chill, like let the app slide. You know what I mean?
Let them brain rot them. If they want to be brain rotted, they're going to find a way to be brain rotted.
I made a recent video of like top 10 like characters with aura. And someone said something about like, someone commented something about like a skibbity toilet or something. And I
keep getting that comment on videos. I'm like, I don't even know what to do, bro.
I just commented back. I was like, what has this app done? And I was like, you know what? Maybe I take it back. Never mind. They couldn't have made the app. But it's a great thing.
I don't think they're going to, I don't know. Because then they're going to take it to court and everything too. So
yeah, which set a really bad precedent. I'd be really interested to see if they actually did it.
I know.
I'll have to turn to like vigilantism.
Just
like,
make sure
I'll be jobless.
I'll
I'll save the city. That's what I'll do next.
I hate when people say like, oh, now I have to get a real job. I'm like, my boy, I've had a second job the whole time I've been doing this shit. This thing don't fund itself.
No, yeah.
But it is a job. I mean,
it is.
From afar, like at the end of the day, yeah, we get to talk about movies, but there's also so much work that goes into it.
No, yeah. Listen, these people, a lot of people in this field, they nonstop grinding when it comes to making content. It's I feel like people get like in this idea of like comparing things a lot. Like, a factory worker and a content creator are completely different. Both work hard in very different ways, but to say one's not working hard is just kind of like blasphemy in my opinion. Because like it takes a lot to do this. Especially people at the very top, sleepless nights of just making stuff. And like this field especially, constantly making out new ideas and thinking of different things. TikTok especially, it's very quick attention span. You got to keep making different things. Sometimes even like having to reuse the same video, but making it a different way to keeping, retention. It's completely just not constantly.
Yeah. Not to mention you're going to have new content creators every day that are trying to get in this field as well. And you got to be able to stay relevant.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
It's a very interesting thing. So yeah, I wouldn't, it's a very.
Yeah. All right. Transformer franchise ranking.
Transformers. Whoa, let's get it. This is the best part.
Robots in disguise.
So how are we doing this? So we're starting off with there's 7 films, right?
7 films.
So we're starting with our least and then working our way up.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're gonna go one by one. So guess first, or
so I'm on my Letterboxd currently. Shout out to Letterboxd.
In last place for your Transformers franchise ranking, what is it?
I currently have The Last Night.
The Last Night?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you?
I have The Last Night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in the similar. I think this was like the biggest nail in the coffin in this franchise.
The Last Night was just like, honestly, this was the toughest part of the whole ranking, was going back and forth between which one's going to be last place for me. And it just boiled down to the point where I was like, what do I remember more of? I remember more of the fourth one. Like I just watched The Last Night a few days ago, and I'm like, what happened in that movie?
See, the thing is with that movie, I feel like it's a lot of things. At some points, it's like, a fantasy flick in like, medieval times. At some points, like a war film. At some points, it's a Mark Wahlberg movie. Then it's a Goonies movie. Then it's like, it's just, it doesn't know what it wants to be. And it's also like very jarring in terms of like the way it was filmed. Listen, I know some people love it, but when it changes aspect ratios every 5 seconds, it like takes me out of every shot entirely.
Let's talk about the aspect ratio.
It's like normal conversations. You'll like pan from one character to, you'll go to another character to another. And the aspect ratio will go from like IMAX to standard.
Yes.
And I'm like,
in the same scene. Like it's different if like, okay, this whole scene is going to be shot in IMAX. This whole scene will be shot on another camera on Sony, standard Sony. Yeah. But it's like between cuts in the same scene.
And now that we're talking about it, listen, I am a Michael Bay apologist. I think he's one of the best and he's probably my favorite director. So at some points I'm like, oh, it's an artistic choice, right? And like maybe like I'm not seeing the vision yet. Maybe it'll come around, but that film, I mean, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, what do we have here? We start off with Optimus, going to space to fight Jesus, right? The Jesus, what's her name? Quintessa of that universe, right?
Yeah.
And he spends half his time there. We're on planet Earth with Mark Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm.
He's now, working with kids in like his inventor farm thing. And like,
what was the point of that kid in that movie?
What was her name? The girl?
Know, yeah. What's her
Listen,
name?
it's bad because I'm trying to remember this movie too. Let
me see. Let me go.
She's played by Isabella Merced, the Dora and the girl from Madam Web.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great actress. I don't remember her name.
Oh, her name in the movie is Isabella.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, we have to take into account Anthony Hopkins, certified bag chaser. Got to respect it. The fact that he's in this movie. Listen, but you know what? I'll say this right now. I don't really care for this movie that much, but there are moments like, when Megatron's recruiting those Transformers. Please tell me you remember. And he's talking to Josh Duhamel and the government.
Yeah, when he's trying to get him out of jail.
He's like berserker. And he's like, no, listen, you can have everyone but him. And I was like, and he's like, fine. That's a good scene. We have Stanley Tucci back as Merlin. Yeah, you're hearing that correct, which means that it's canon. He's Merlin.
Yeah, that's right. He's another character.
He was what's his face in the first one. Well, we'll get into that we'll get into that one later. But yeah, he's the Wizard Merlin in this one, which is hilarious. Cade Yeager's back as Mark. It's just Mark Wahlberg.
Here's what I think about Mark Wahlberg's character. He was a much more believable character in The Last Night as to where the Age of Extinction. I think I'm supposed to believe Mark Wahlberg is some fucking smart inventor. Like I'm just not buying it.
Save the city and save the Transformers, and we gotta invent things. I'm an inventor.
Yeah, he's an inventor.
This could be a game changer for us.
Like they definitely dumb him down more in The Last Night. I'm like, okay, this is a lot more believable.
We'll get into that because we'll talk about the Age of Extinction version of Mark Wahlberg because I have some things to say about that one. But this whole film, I mean, I don't even like what we have to, when they show the thing with Transformers films, they like to alter history a lot, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that scene where it's Anthony Hopkins and it's Mark Wahlberg and they're talking about how Bumblebee fought the Nazis.
Yes.
And we go and retcon a bunch of. I was like, that right there is so bad it's amazing. I was like, you know what? This is why I come to these movies.
And honestly, I'm always a huge fan when you create some fiction of historical events.
Yeah, and they do those movies. We'll get into Dark of the Moon too, because I think I made a video on this. The way Michael Bay changes like an alters history, it adds a different layer of realism to the films, and it makes it more legitimate. Where I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
It's interesting. It is interesting because I'm a big fan of history. Like that was always my favorite subject in class, and so just throwing like a fictional twist in there to it always intrigued me. I mean, one of my favorite movies, Looking at Inglourious Bastards, like that's fictional ending to World War II, but it was fucking badass.
No, exactly. So we haven't I've been yapping about this. What do you actually think about this film though? Like besides the fact that it's not really memorable for you?
Dude, I can't remember much.
You're struggling. Do you remember when so they do have this part in the film where they've been teasing in the trailers before where Optimus Prime has a little heel turn. He becomes a little bad guy, a little baddie bad.
Yeah.
It lasts like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But that scene's pretty fine. I wouldn't say really good, but it's fine. Like they have B. I think it was really cool that they had B speak, and that's what makes Optimus realize like, oh shit, like it's like a Martha scene from BVS. Like, oh my God, no way.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, your voice, I haven't heard it in centuries, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, let me stop fighting you now. Through that scene though, we have Mark Wahlberg run. It was like a platform in the water, and you have Mark Wahlberg running across it on top of Bumblebee, trying to tell Optimus Prime to stop. I'm like, what am I seeing right now?
And that's the thing about the fourth and the fifth one too, is like there's so many situations where I'm like, there's no way they're coming out of this alive. Like they're just falling thousands of feet in the air, landing in hard metal transformer. Like what does not even hurt?
And it's like also, I mean, we in the future film, what is it? Rise of the Beasts. We see a character, and we'll talk about later, get a literal suit of armor. Yes. So I was like wondering, like, we've had two main leads in the previous, iterations of this franchise that didn't get the suits, and I'm like wondering, what are we doing here? He's out in the middle of like a war, and he's Mark Wahlberg in a ripped shirt. Also, the fact that Mark Wahlberg is The Last Night. Oh, brother. I started cracking up when that happened. I was like, Mark Wahlberg's just like King Arthur. Like, what are we doing?
I like that they brought Josh Duhamel back.
Amazing. Shout out to Lennox. He's great.
I wouldn't have minded if he was. I think Josh Duhamel's character should have been the main character of one of these Transformer movies. For sure. I think so.
Ooh. Well, it couldn't be the first three.
No, because I mean,
Ladies Man 217. You know what I mean?
Ladies Man, Shia LaBeouf, like obviously you got to make him the main lead.
Yeah.
But I do think he should have been the main lead. Like if he was the main lead for 4 and 5, I think I would have been a lot more intrigued.
Yeah. I mean, that's we'll get into that later because apparently he dies in this universe. Did you know that?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
So if we'll get into it for Age of Extinction, but when Optimus Prime first transforms again, and he's obviously like traumatized, right? Because they've been hunted.
Yeah.
You hear him go like, I think there's like a little audio clip where you hear him go, Sam, no. Like, and like, I guess like it's been canon in the universe that he died.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? And we see him in this film, actually. You remember the Witwickens?
Yeah.
The lady or whatever is the
the
generation of Witwickens. They're I don't even remember the importance of that, but yeah, the lady's like related to Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
The end sequence with the space, they're in space and like the gravity, that's fine.
It's fine.
It's like, once again, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say good or great, but it's fine. And the one thing that really irks me is, right, Megatron, your biggest player in this universe, right? The rival to Optimus, right? You know, leader of the Decepticons, and bar the first one, he becomes a little bit of a bitch, and he's like second in command to everyone, right? This last one, he's in it, not a lot, but the last interaction between him and Optimus is he gets the better part of Optimus, and then he gets kicked out of a spaceship and goes flying. We never see him again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, that's how we ended. And I think in the scene, he goes, we were brothers. We were brothers. I'm like, we have never they've obviously like teased it, right? And they've talked.
But they've never really dived into that.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But like, we just ended there. It's abrupt. And I'm like, for what? So we can have like a Linkin Park outro quicker. That's I don't even know what we're doing.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. The music was an odd choice in that one too. In that final battle, they started playing some. Was that Linkin Park?
I don't remember.
I don't even know who the band was.
Yeah, but I know you.
But they were playing some like indie rock shit in this huge final battle scene, and I think that's one thing that definitely lacks with some of these later Transformer movies. And yeah, we'll get more into that. But I think that's one reason why the first one slaps a lot too, is because the music's fucking good in the first one.
And it's just also a lot simpler. But like even them, I mean, you'll see later with Dark of the Moon, I think it's, it's definitely more complex than the first one. But even then, it doesn't have to be necessarily simple to be good. And like, I feel like this one is just like, we're going through the motions. And at this point, I feel like the franchise, they kind of just were like, dead in the water, and they didn't really know what to do at that point. But I know a lot of people that really like this movie, and it's
really,
and I, as a transfer, I don't, I'm not gonna, I've seen people give this thing like
I'm not even kidding. I think what really sets this in last place might be the aspect ratio changing.
I think that's maybe that's my biggest irk, because it really takes me out of every scene. But there's like also like, it's just like, I'm not really interested in the story at this point.
No.
And I think it's probably also the main thing. No. But like I said, the moments, like, when Anthony Hopkins gets blown up at Stonehenge, that's hilarious. Might be one of the greatest scenes ever. I'm not going to lie. Oh my, so he pulls out like his umbrella, starts shooting at Megatron.
Where'd he walk from, bro?
God knows where. I didn't even know he was there. And then he pulls out like his umbrella, starts shooting at Megatron. And then just... Oh my God! If we could have a clip of that, that's one of the greatest scenes in the franchise history, of him just going flying like a rag doll.
Yeah,
I think the aspect ratio changes in that too, which is just.
And they bring back what's his name, Simmons for.
Oh yeah,
for a few scenes.
It's just not the same at that point.
No,
this one just is it's just sad. This one I knew, when you're like your favorite athletes wash. That's how I felt watching this.
Okay, let's go to number 6.
Age of Extinction is my 6.
Okay, that's my 6 too.
Okay.
All right, so back to back, we have the first, same, two, the two last of the franchise. One part I think that carries this movie is definitely Stanley Tucci.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal in this film.
We just had more of him in this movie. maybe boosted up a star.
He is great as, what is it? Joshua, he works for that KSI. He's like a billionaire.
Yeah.
And it's just
he's funny as fuck.
Interaction. See, the thing is, these films, as sometimes as vulgar as they get and racist as they get when it comes to their humor, they do land, I feel like, a lot in the humor category. Stanley Tucci just fits in perfectly with this universe. And listen, with this film, I think if you shave off like 40 minutes of this film.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a lot.
Listen, I know. Listen, hear me out. Just hear me out. There's a banger here. This is a solid Transformers flick if you do that.
You know what? And that's a huge problem in these Michael Bay ones is that they're like 2 hours and 40 minutes. They do not need to be.
I think this one clocks in at the longest time.
I think it was like, what, 2:42?
Actually, I think I'm lying.
Or maybe last night.
No, it is. It's 2 hours 45, I believe.
Jesus
Which,
Christ.
listen, is a lot, right?
That's a lot.
We start off with this film teasing the Dinobots, right? This was the big attraction. And we start off with them in like Antarctica. And then we don't see them until like the last 30 minutes of the film. So by the time I'm tired, man, we've gone through a lot. But this film, it starts off pretty hot, I'm not going to lie. It felt like Michael Bay was learning character development for these characters in this franchise, besides just Sam, right? I actually didn't mind Cade and his family. I mean, TJ Miller. Is it TJ Miller?
Yeah, TJ Miller.
He's, we don't care.
They killed him off in like the first 20 minutes.
In one of the most gruesome deaths ever, by the way, in this, which it kind of rocked. We start off and I'm like, he's like a down in his luck inventor. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. And especially the way they treat Cade Yeager as like an inverse / opposite of Optimus. You know what I mean? Like they're very similar. And I like that they were delving into the fact that a human character is very similar to, Optimus and, him relating to him, which was really cool. But, we're starting off pretty hot. It's pretty interesting. I like the concept of after the Battle of Chicago, the Transformers are being hunted.
Yeah.
They're on the run.
Yeah, that's
great.
Interesting stuff.
We have Kelsey Grammer, as this agent that wants to get rid of all the Transformers, which I thought, is really, interesting. And like, it makes sense. Like these guys basically caused a massive terrorist attack on a major city in the US. Why would they really still want them here? Even though like they technically say that, I get it. There's a reason to be, had that they shouldn't be there. We get that first look at Lockdown, when they're chasing Ratchet. That's a really cool action set piece.
Yes.
Lockdown is badass.
Yeah.
One of the coolest.
That was a dope design.
Insane. Like the gun coming. I mean, it's basically Megatron with the gun coming out of his face, but he's just.
And I think one of my, one guy I was talking to who's like, this is his franchise, been watching this since a kid. They said Lockdown they got right.
Amazing. He's, this anti-hero down the middle, doesn't care about, the good versus evil, the quote unquote good versus evil, the Decepticons and Autobots, he thinks they're just children playing around. I was like, that's a really cool character to introduce here. Because when they make a good point, he says, they're always fighting and that's what causes all this destruction. That's why they're in this place right now. I'm like, this is really interesting stuff here, Michael Bay. Okay, let's go. Let's take me home. And then I think we get to a point where we're on the run and they're like fugitives, and goddamn, does it like it startles and it just stagnates.
The third act is just where it all stalls, because the third acts are always like fucking an hour long, and so much action. Like this movie was action nonstop from front to back, and that's one of the reasons why I like some other movies. Oh my god, we had the same lock screen.
Know. Shout out to Dune.
I just noticed that.
Shout out to Sydney Volpe. That's how I got on her Twitter. She That's
hilarious. But yeah, these third acts are just so long. This one was just nonstop. At like the first 20 minutes, we get the introduction of our characters, and then they fucking blow up his farm. Boom. All right, nonstop. Here we go.
Oh, that scene with who's that agent? Let me find his name. I'm talking about the glass where he's like, "That my face is my warrant." It's like, you don't have a warrant here. He's like, "My face is my warrant."
What
I'm
the
like,
fuck's his name?
I don't even know.
James Savoy.
Yeah, James Savoy's. It's one of those characters, man. It's like it can only be in this Michael Bay universe.
Yes.
And I mean, they tried to give him death. He's like, I had a sister in Chicago, and I'm like, this all makes sense, right? And once again, this film just stalls, and it stalls badly. For every good moment we get in this film, we get a moment like Romeo and Juliet.
I was waiting to bring that up, man.
It doesn't need to be there, but like,
does it? I just want to know what was happening in the writers' room where they're like, you know what? Let's make our main character's daughter underage, have her date someone who's 20, where they have to specifically bring up to make sure that this guy is not a pedophile, and they have a Romeo and Juliet law in Texas that he carries around in his pocket just for these circumstances.
And he's like speed racer. He has his car. He saves him, which leads into a pretty cool chase sequence. You get Optimus Prime in that as well, throwing himself into more property to destroy, and like he causes so much chaos. And in this film as well, we get a very darker Optimus. He, before in previous ones, he's very anti, like, I'm not going to kill human beings. In this one,
he was like, when I find him, I'm going to kill him. Yeah.
They slaughtered Ratchet. Yeah. And he stands on business in this film. I got to respect it, honestly.
They love fucking up Chicago,
but
too.
Like I said before with Optimus and Cade, I really like how, in the first three, it's a big on how Optimus turned his back on Cybertron and his people to save Earth and, assimilate with them. And, in this one, we have Cade turning his back on, I guess, human beings in this way. And then, and they have some really cool dialogue. I mean, it's it's a lot that I wasn't expecting, where Cade's talking with Optimus about like, him with Tessa and him raising her and how she's, becoming free.
Was it like that scene in the canyon?
And yeah, or no, I think it was later. It might've been later in the film where he's like, Optimus is like, yeah, I had that with Bumblebee, where like, like they're like talking about like raising and like them being more independent and on their own.
Yeah.
Once again, we're talking about some good stuff, and then we'll get, a samurai Bugatti transformer who has a yellow gold face, and I'm like, why? Oh, brother. And also these characters, like these side characters, I mean, some of them are cool. I like, I forget his name, the green guy with the cloak. I'm talking about, that had the guns.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Wait, the skinnier guy or the big guy?
He had the cloak. No, the big guy's Hound. I know.
Okay, yeah. Let me find. What was it? Because voiced by, you got that wrong on that trivia. I remember that.
A guy from Cloverfield, right?
Yeah, John.
Cloverfield.
Why the fuck am I blanking on his name?
Well, you'll find it. You just know Cloverfield. But I don't.
John Goodman.
Yeah. Cool character. There's some cool character, and then I'm like, the other ones I just don't really care for. Like, you know what I mean? I really liked how they, the Transformium stuff was pretty interesting. Like how they're like, oh, we don't need you anymore.
Right.
So like, what, but at the same time, I'm like, the way they transform is the worst thing ever. Yeah. They used it to like basically like be a product placement ad, where they're like, dude, the pill. You like music? Here's the pill. Here's the do you see this? It's the Beats pill. Do you know what this? It's the Beats pill. And then he pulls out a gun, and then then later there's a Hello Kitty. And I'm like, oh God, like they should have not done that.
Wait, you can't forget about when that Bud Light semi truck too spilled over.
Oh yeah, because this film gets insane. They are on spaceships that we're seeing. I thought it was interesting. We see different aliens. We're exploring the universe, and
the product placement is insane. And it's funny you said that.
But that's great product placement. That's phenomenal.
My friend sent me a link the other day. From when that movie came out, that said Paramount faces lawsuit claiming they didn't have enough product placement in Transformers 4. That there wasn't enough product placement.
I would have taken them to court. I'm like, did you watch this movie?
Bro.
Did you watch this movie? Okay, because the third act of this film it is supposed to take place in China, right?
Yes.
But they filmed in Hong Kong because I believe China didn't want they didn't give them permission to make their place get blown up. You know what I mean? Look in the film and make it look weak, right? So they filmed in Hong Kong, and I feel like half that is product placement as well. There's talking about billboards, Chinese products in there, and that's why this film was big in China. This film was big overseas market. This film grossed over. I think it might be the highest grossing in the franchise.
Second one. Yeah, it grossed 1.1 billion.
What's higher?
Dark of the Moon.
I knew Dark. Really? I thought. Okay, so that's. I mean, for obvious reasons, obviously, it's the best one.
Yeah, this was 1.10 something, and then Dark of the Moon was 1.12.
Yeah,
so just barely.
But I'm very down the middle with this film, and there's a lot of people that love it, and there's a lot of people that hate it. Yeah. And I feel like I'm down the middle because there's like I said, a lot of good here, but there's also a lot of bad, and it's just it teeters on both sides of the spectrum. It's it's perfectly balanced, like all things should be. But we get Mark Wahlberg using an alien space gun. Back to that product placement, by the way, where he breaks the beer in that guy's car, and he's like, insurance, it's a fucking spaceship, and he's like, honey, give me my alien gun. This film is hilarious at some points like that. I'm like, that's pretty, I'll give him that. That's good.
Stanley Tucci with the girl he was trying to.
He's like, I love you. She kicks two people's ass, and then he's like, I love you. That whole end third act when they're in Hong Kong or whatever, and they're fighting on Mark Wahlberg's fighting the agent on the apartment things. I was like, that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool. But I mean, thinking about it right now, we've been talking about this film for a while. We haven't even brought up the Dinobots because at that point,
right,
you have probably fell asleep.
Completely forget it
because it's very draining.
And the Dinobots are cool.
Now, fall asleep is a bad word. You're just you've ran a marathon at this point.
Yeah.
And, I didn't even bring up the fact that they were in Chicago again in this film with spaceships. Dude, and I'm like,
they love fucking up Chicago.
I didn't remember that they were still in Chicago. I'm like, I see the B and I go, this can't be. They just dealt with a terrorist attack in the films prior. I'm like, are we back in Chicago with a spaceship? I'm like, oh my God, they're doing this.
One of the most unbelievable things about it was in the first act, there was the news was on TV, and they were talking about the casualties of Dark of the Moon. We all saw Dark of the Moon. We all saw how many buildings they knocked over. How many? They said only 1,300 dead from Dark of the Moon.
Oh shit!
1,300.
Really? They did evacuate though. They said, but like I know what you mean. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
I was like, brother.
But yeah, that happens. I mean, there's the part where I mean, back to lockdown by the way, because that scene where they're out in like that open road, because we haven't even talked about Galvatron either, because
we haven't.
In this film, Stanley Tucci's company, when they're making new Transformers, they're trying to perfect it, and they want to make like a brand icon like Optimus, and they're trying to make him look like Optimus, but they're using the mind of Megatron, and it keeps looking like Megatron for obvious reasons, right?
Obvious.
And yeah, they make Megatron 2.0, and like I said before, the transforming effects of the transforming is so dog shit. I hate it. It's a bunch of stupid pixels going around, and it makes a truck, and I'm like, that's
almost
disgusting.
like nanotech.
Yeah, it's like Stark Tech, and I'm like, no, stop it. Stop it right now. Give me some real gritty transformations here. But Galvatron, he's basically Megatron, but
Too shiny.
Skin, too clean. But I like his design. I like the circle. It looks pretty cool.
Okay.
But yeah, this film, there's just so much going on. The Dinobots are cool. The first introduction where Optimus Prime is takes him out, and they had a really good joke where Samurai Bot, and the fact that I can't remember the names is bad, and Cool Guy Bot in the green cloak were like, oh, don't you just want to die for him? That's and he's like, that's just leadership. No, it's like, that's Optimus Prime.
He's Stilgar.
Yeah, it glazes crazy. And then they had a part where he takes down the Dinobot. He's like, when the Dinobot turns into like a T-Rex thing, he's like, I thought it was a giant car. Like, I was like, that's a funny ass line. I was like, there's some good stuff. And then, but yeah, the whole end of this is batshit crazy. You have shit floating up into the sky. Cade Yeager in battle, fighting. Oh, you know that song they're playing where it's like, one more time before I go. And
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I think that's what you're thinking. I actually kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie, actually, now that I think about it. But they had that playing as like Tessa breaks Optimus free of a sword, and then they're fighting Lockdown, and he stabs Lockdown. Nobody can save me now. And it's like, it's low key amazing. Now, now the more I talk about it, the more I might just raise this from a 2.5 to a 3 on Letterboxd. But yeah, it has its moments. It has its bad moments. It's honestly like us. It's like human beings.
This was hard to finish.
It's long. It really is. Pause. Yeah. Big pause, but it's very, it's a bit of a grueling watch. If you don't like this franchise as it is,
I can't believe it grossed 1.1 billion.
Like I said, the China market, the overseas market, they love this because it's
wild.
It takes place out there. I mean, it was great. They marketed it very well.
And don't worry, we'll be getting into design rankings as well for Optimus, for Megatron, for all that. We'll get into that later. We're gonna have our own separate rankings of the Optimus and Megatron designs. And Alex apparently has his top 20.
I have a top 20. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
All right, let's go to number 5. I think this is where it's gonna switch up for us. What do you have for your 5th best Transformers movie?
The more that I think about this, right?
Oh boy.
My current list might just change on the fly. Because right now I have Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay.
But I'm opting it right now. We're gonna do a little dun 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 dun.
I'm putting trade. We're making a trade.
We're making a trade, and I'm gonna go Rise of the Beast.
Whoa!
I'm gonna go Rise of the Beast. Because it's quite simple. There's no Michael Bay. There's no sauce. And I was a guy that was extremely hyped for Rise of the Beast. Go on my page. Go back. I was hyping up this film. I made a trailer reaction.
You were hyped.
I had a video dedicated because they didn't really market this film until like the latter stages before it came out. I was like I was like, why isn't Paramount advertising this movie? I'm hyped. It's a new Transformers film. It's live action. Trailers look cool. We got, what you call it? My brain's farting. The Beast.
Oh, the Maxa.
What's his name? Maximus
Optimus Primal, and then
Optimus Primal, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Brain's farting right now. I know what they're called. The bots for the animals. Remember right now, I'm brain farting right now.
I thought they're not the Maxa. Aren't they like the Maxa?
No, they're called the Maximals. Yes.
Maximals. Yeah.
Such an easy name. My brain was like forgetting. I was like, oh, they're gonna like slate me for not knowing my ball there. Maximals are cool. I thought, but it's just this film looks. I think let's start with the visuals first. I think everything looks fine, right? It's just this film is very gray and bland. There's nothing like when you go to the Michael Bay films. Say what you want. They're visually stunning.
Correct.
They transport you into this magical world where it feels like this is real, tangible. There's depth in the shots. Everything feel like, going back to the first ever shot of Bumblebee in the first Transformers, that shit is euphoric to look at because it's just like you're in awe.
Even the one of Optimus,
the lighting, the way everything hits it. In this film, it feels like the lighting is just like this. It looks like it's like artificial. It doesn't feel real.
So number 5, I have Rise of the Beast as well.
Okay, cool.
And I was talking to some people last night, and they said, because audience rating, Rotten Tomato, this is the highest one. This is a 91% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I beg your pardon?
91% from the audience.
Of all of them.
The highest of all of the Transformer movies, the audience says this is the best one.
Really?
Yep.
I get it. The human characters are probably one of the best.
And I had someone tell me
as well,
if you're a deep lore guy, this is your favorite one. But if you're a middle lore guy, then maybe not so much. But I mean, you're a pretty deep lore guy. This is your franchise.
It is. And listen, I think, yeah, I mean, as far as like it has the G1 designs, it feels like OG. I feel like, but I'm also just a very big Bayverse guy too. So it's like, I think the best part about the Bayverse movies is that it took a pre-existing stuff and like obviously it's completely differing from the lore and everything.
Right.
But it did its own thing.
Making it modern.
Yeah, it did its own thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what I appreciate. Whereas here, I mean, we get, some cool stuff. I mean, we get Unicron, which is really sick.
Yeah.
Lore accurate Unicron, which doesn't, compared to the Bayverse films, which have like, Quintessa is not a real thing. It's actually a planet. But, Bayverse gets a lot, lore-wise wrong. But I mean, this film, it's cool. I'm looking back at it. I was extremely hyped, and then I felt when I watched, I was a bit disappointed.
Okay.
I tried a lot to argue for it, but like looking back now, I'm like, it just doesn't have it doesn't have the sauce.
No, I just couldn't really get too much into this one. I liked our main characters, but I didn't really feel any chemistry on screen between our main characters. Even the brother relationship, I didn't really feel any chemistry there.
I think
just couldn't get into it.
I like Pete Davidson as Mirage. I thought he was cool. Peter Cullen never misses. Come on now.
Right.
Like I said with Scourge, the villain, one of the main villains, it was cool. I thought like that scene where he first kills Bumblebee was dope. He's like, says a cool line about like, yeah, that feeling where like a lesser being meets a higher power. And I was like, oh, that's badass. And it's voiced by Peter Dinklage.
Oh yeah,
dope.
There's good voice acting.
There's really,
one.
I mean, Michelle Yeoh's as Eraser or whatever. She's in this. Michelle Yeoh, hot off,
See, and I couldn't even tell like that was them.
Yeah, it's great. RC's cool. Like, there's a lot fine here.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot set up here that I'm like, okay, I'll come back. I'm just. Like I said, the sauce, it's a visual medium. There's no sauce here.
Right. The most sauce I think that this did have was when Bumblebee was resurrected and came back into battle, jumping out of that plane.
That was a banger.
I think that's easily the best scene in the movie.
I got
there was good camera work. That scene was fire.
When Bumblebee dies, I got emotional. I'm not gonna lie, because that's B. That's the
B.
guy. Because this is in the same universe now. Because this is in the past as a. Well, I mean, I think
so.
They're
Explain. So there's a Bayverse, and then there's.
So
and Rise of the Beast and Bumblebee is like two separate universes, so they're not connected to the first one.
I believe they're different. I thought they were connected at first, but this definitely is linked to Bumblebee. They're in the same universe.
Oh, yeah. Not linked to Bumblebee.
This is linked to Bumblebee.
Oh, this one is, and then not
I don't
to
know
the
about
other ones.
Bayverse, but like, I mean, it's set in the 80s, so it obviously could be.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was.
Because Bumblebee was like 87. This one was like 94. So I'm like, okay, these two have to be in the same universe.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to see Haley Steinfeld in this to confirm it, but I guess they couldn't get her. That would have honestly would have upped this a star.
Well, yeah, because it's the same designs too and everything. So
and I think they acknowledge Bumblebee was in the West Coast.
Yeah.
In San Fran, which, Bumblebee we'll get into later as well. It's just like this film, it doesn't have the same pizzazz. They don't feel as special. The weight is not as, grand. But it's a cool Transformers movie. I mean,
I don't mind that the weight isn't as grand because I feel like.
I mean, yeah, these are all universe-destroying movies.
1 through 5 is just like, how many fucking times are we gonna have this?
The world might end.
Yeah,
that's why I can appreciate this in like Bumblebee, small scale.
Yes,
but like I meant like in the sense that like the weight of the Transformers, they don't feel as heavy. Okay. They don't feel as I'm in awe when I see them. When they show up on the screen. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
It's not as a big deal when they're on the screen. Whereas the Bayverse, it's primetime television the moment they're on the screen.
I love too how Noah saves the world once, and then Sam Witwicky will save it 3 times. They're like, "What the fuck you doing here? Like, get out of here, kid." Wait, you want a medal? Fine, here's your medal. We're not gonna give you a job.
Yeah, and it's also in the 80s too, so you feel like they'd be even more strict.
Yeah.
Noah Diaz basically gets recruited into G.I. Joe, I believe.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, comic accurate. I mean, G.I. Joe and Transformers have linked plenty of times. I think they're currently in a comic run right now. I'm not reading it, but I believe that's what's happening.
I think they're going to have a Aren't they in process of
they're in
movie
process
too?
of making a movie too. Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, go for it.
Mhm.
Make it good though. I mean, listen, don't F it up. I'm tired of seeing mid. I don't want to see more mid. You know, I have hope. I have hope.
All the friends around me have had Rise of the Beast as their number one Transformers movie, which it baffles me.
Brother,
yeah, it kind of.
No, but it's not even. It's just like I don't mind this movie. I think
it's just like very. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
That's how exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I remember like when this came out. You'll see if you see my review on my TikTok page. I try. I gave this thing a 3.5 when it first came out. If I rewatched it, I don't think it'd be the same. In my review, you just hear my disappointment. Like I'm trying to I'm just like, yeah, it's good, but I don't know, man. I'm trying. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's fine. I like it being in like the Brooklyn setting. I thought the advertising for this was really cool with like the cool posters of the graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Noah Diaz is a cool character. His brother is probably the best character. Little brother was cool. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's just fine.
We're not going to be talking about it much more after 5 years.
Yeah,
even if that.
Lowest grossing one of the franchise too. Not
surprised.
Yeah.
No Michael Bay, no bucks. I'm telling you, man.
No Shia LaBeouf.
Shout out to Stephen Caple Jr. though. Was he director of Creed 2? Yeah, Creed 2 director.
I like Creed 2.
I really like Creed 2.
Number 4. So we made a trade.
We made
a trade.
Yeah. So as you can see here, my delusion must have been on a different level because I hadn't seen Revenge of the Fallen in a minute. But yeah, 4 will be Revenge of the Fallen.
Okay. 4, I have Revenge of the Fallen too.
So this is accurate.
So this is the exact same list so far for us. We'll see how the top 3 goes.
I know how the top 3 is going to go. It's going to be completely different.
Top 3 will be different, but the first 4 we got the same.
So with this film, writer's strike. Let's take that into account, everyone.
Yes.
No writers. So Michael Bay had full reins and he got all the keys. And this is the most unapologetically Michael Bay unhinged film you'll probably ever see.
100%. And you could, like we were talking about a few days ago, Michael Bay is his worst enemy at the same time. Like he can cook at some points with the visual and all that, but
some points,
a
lot of points,
but then a lot of points too. Aspect ratio writing, like he can be his worst enemy.
Okay. With this film, where do I even begin? Sam is going to college, right?
I like the first act. I like the first 2 acts. Actually, the second act's my favorite.
We start off though. Yeah, we're in, I believe, China. And they're hunting Decepticons because remember that big roly-poly one?
Yes.
That was, I don't know why I said roly-poly one, but yeah, the big guy with the wheels.
Yeah.
Cool set piece start off. Ironhide gets a shine. Really cool. The robot says, the fallen is coming, blah, blah, blah. Then we cut back to dogs humping each other. And Sam's, going to college. Megan Fox proposes to him, I believe. Prime Michaela.
When she took off and she was in that white dress. When I was a
Sam
kid.
Wiki, lucky man, very lucky man.
Yeah, not even to mention his girl in the third one.
Who is, we'll get into that too. Carly's one of the goats too. Well, Michaela is also really cool in these movies. I'm like that. Obviously, Megan Fox is there because she's, she's very beautiful, but she also, she's really a lot better in this one. She's really good at acting in this one, I feel. And her character's dope. She, she likes cars. She actually saves the city in the first one. And this one, we get some of the best scenes in the franchise, I won't lie, because when Sam is in college, right, and he meets this girl, right? Dear God, who's a Decepticon bot. And they're making out, and then Megan Fox walks in, Michaela walks in. We lead into one of the most bad shit bonkers things of the chase where they're getting chased by the thing. They get into a library, they're getting hunted by Megatron, by Starscream, and so we get one of literally the best things in the franchise. They're in the library, and he's like, Michaela's talking to him fuck you, we're done, we're done. He's like, no, you ever get fucked by a mountain ox mouth, whatever the fuck he says, mountain lion oxtail, whatever the shit in my mouth. He's like, it has a Deasley tinge. And they're arguing. I'm not talking to you. I said, no, we're gonna stop here. 10 seconds. We're done. I was like, 10 seconds. She's like, you're such a girl. And it's such a great thing.
So, and that's why a lot of people would say maybe Revenge of the Fallen is the worst one. But here's the thing about these first 3 movies is just Shia LaBeouf is that factor. He's that X factor.
Oh yeah.
He's so charismatic. Like he's just so natural on screen.
It's great.
And we mentioned the writer strike, which I feel like maybe left open for more improv on this movie. And that library scene, I could totally have seen that being improv.
Oh, 100%. Because I can't even recite because he was in flow state.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film, right? We leave after because the Allspark in the first one, right? Sam happens to hold the entire cube the first movie, but nothing affects him. But in this film, he has a shard, and the shard has now given him the ability to see like the cube in the scriptures or whatever, which, you know, sure. Sure. The tiny spark is what you held the entire thing. You should have radiation poisoning or something, but sure, fine. And what they need it, right? It's just like, cause it leads them to the Fallen or whatever, or like the Matrix of, dear God, this film there's a lot going on. But yeah, they're on the run half this film, which I thought was pretty cool. Sam and all of them. I mean, his shitty roommate kind of stinks. You know what I'm talking about? That guy, what's his name?
The real deal.
Leo?
The real effing deal.
Leo? Yeah. He's a lot in this film. I don't know how I feel about Leo. But they're on the run. And you know, they're going places. This is like someone, was it you that said it was like Raiders of the Lost Ark? It's like something, would you say?
Yeah, the second act is my favorite part of this movie because it did feel like an Indiana Jones movie where they're on the run, they're trying to, you know, solve this mystery to find the next piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, they're traveling to Egypt and, you know, they're using historical landmarks for like fictional events that I thought was really cool. So honestly, I just really enjoyed that. And honestly, some of my favorite scenes and acts in the Transformer franchise is when there's less action going on and there's just more of like these humans and Transformers working together to solve the next piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, this scene, there's also some of the best action set pieces in this film. I mean, the forest fight with Optimus versus
a lot of people love that scene.
Megatron and Starscream.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime taking him on 3v1, then getting killed by Megatron, which I will say, when it happened in theaters in 2009, I had to be taken out because I cried so much. My mom had to take me to the bathroom because I was bawling because Optimus died.
I feel like Optimus is always getting his ass whooped. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, for a Prime, this man, he takes a beating.
Dude.
But he always wins.
Does he?
For the most part.
He'd be dying.
But see, the thing is, Megatron snaked him. It wasn't like a fair fight. He took them all on. And the only reason why he lost because he was worrying about Sam.
Yeah.
So it would, you know, but that's really cool. I think Megatron being the fallen side piece in this film, I didn't like it.
Okay.
Megatron
after the first one, Megatron starts becoming a little bitch.
Like I said, man, he's an alpha, and they have him as a sidekick. Happies.
They nerf him.
They nerf him a lot. I think his design's pretty cool though in this one. He's like a tank, flying tank in this one. Half of his arms like ripped off. But the Fallen is in this one. He's generic villain number 5 million in this universe. That's like whatever. He wants to just bring Cybertron back, right? Or something.
Yeah. That's the first 5 movie right there.
Yeah. But the real star of this film, I think, is Agent Simmons.
Agent Simmons.
I think Agent Simmons is just on a different level. He's up there with Sam Witwicky for like when it comes to just like fast-paced dialogue.
I definitely liked Agent Simmons in this one more than the first one, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we see his ass in this one, which is like, I don't know what they
were bro. I hadn't seen this one in a while. When I rewatched it, and I saw it, I was like, that's a jump scare right there.
Yeah, jump scare. He's like an author, like a acclaimed author in this one. And
no, that's the third one.
No, that's the third one.
He's working at his mother's. He's a butcher.
He's a butcher in this one. Yeah, he meets. Oh my God, yeah.
Do you want your new teeth or not?
Yeah, it was
that's my dream.
Yeah, he's great in all these. I think.
Yeah, he's like the conspiracy theorist. He's got all the files in the basement and all that stuff. No, he's great in this one.
He's a different level. Him and Sam, great characters.
I do like the camaraderie between those two in this one.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, once again, this film is his own worst enemy because the fact that Michael Bay got a little too much control. I mean, the fact that like I said, I mean, we talked about the racist little humor in there. I mean, listen, there's a lot. the mud flap, whatever robots, which are like supposed to be like stereotypical like gangbangers. I'm like, what are we doing here? Please stop it. I don't want to see it anymore. We got
the gold tooth
sexism out the wazoo with like Leo landing on Megan or Megan Fox landing on.
I think the sexism's got to be the worst in this one.
Oh, it's 110%.
Oh yeah, biggest plot hole is I told you this the other day. Sam needing a near-death experience to tell Megan fucking Fox, "I love you."
Yeah,
that just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, he's just got that dog in him. I forgot he dies in this like
he
Optimus.
Does, bro.
He talks. Oh my God, he talks to like space things. Or not space things. He talks to heaven. He's like in heaven. He talks to like these
heaven aliens.
Autobots or like aliens or whatever. And he comes back to life, and both those scenes pretty fire. Like when Optimus comes back, they put the matrix of leadership or whatever inside of him. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the end fight's not really the best.
It's long.
It's very long.
It's so long. Easily could have shaved off like 15
we
minutes.
also get to the John Turturro's under like what's his name? The big robot Devastator. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm underneath the enemy scrotum because they gave him balls. They gave him wrecking balls. Yeah, but this film for every it's like Age of Extinction but better. That's how I put it. Like it's just unhinged. It's just very unhinged.
It is.
It's an acquired taste.
I definitely do enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Than Age of Extinction. I mean, and maybe nostalgia can play a little bit of factor in that, but like I said earlier, it boils down to Shia LaBeouf being in this one.
Yeah, him just being ADHD times 5, babbling off. It's low key one of the best things.
I completely forgot that Rainn Wilson was the professor in this as well. Dwight from The Office. I completely forgot about that.
And he's like a pedophile.
Yes,
he's like a pervert, creep, and
there's so much underage shit.
Yeah,
in
it's
these
just it's just unhinged. It's just for the sake of it.
And I don't think I rewatched that movie because I'm a huge fan of The Office. I've probably ran through that whole series 9 times. I completely forgot that Rainn Wilson was even in this movie.
I would have forgotten as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we end in Egypt. There's a cool, really explosion set piece where they're running through to get to Optimus. But yeah, there's there's just a lot going on. It's just unhinged. If you like unhinged shit, Michael Bay shit, this one rocks.
I do like another thing that I do like about these first 3 is the relationship with Sam and his parents.
Yes.
I love his mom and his dad. And
hilarious.
Miss Witwicky is literally my mom. So maybe that's why I like her even more. But that is literally how my mom acts. No bullshit.
In this film, she starts off by eating like a weed brownie.
Yes.
Like an edible. Yeah. It's like the dad's hilarious too.
But I feel like they had good chemistry with each other on screen, and there was some great acting. Yeah. And even though it really made no sense for his parents to be in the desert, as a decoy, they took them from Paris, France. But that scene where, he's telling his dad, he's like, you gotta stay here, you gotta let me go. I thought that was great.
Oh yeah, that's an overarching theme of your room, moving on, parental, growing up. I thought that was really
good stuff.
Really handled. We haven't really talked about Bumblebee. Bumblebee's good in this movie too. Bumblebee's always good. Bumblebee's a goat.
Yeah, so there's definitely some highlights in this movie that are good.
Was this the one with the humping robot?
Yes.
Yeah. Humps Megan. Yeah.
Humps
like
Megan
I said, guys, we get for every at least 10 good things, we get maybe 9 bad things.
Yeah.
And it's by bad, I mean just what am I watching? But at the same time, childhood favorite. So I can't be too harsh on it.
Entertaining at the end of the day.
So entertaining.
Alrighty.
All right.
Let's move on to top 3.
So this top 3 is easy for me. It's never really changed. At 3, I got Bumblebee.
Okay.
Do you have Bumblebee?
I have Dark of the Moon, number 3.
All right, so that's your first wrong take. Okay, so
I think that's good for Dark of the Moon.
I'll start off because I need to hear what you say about Dark of the Moon before I get into it. Bumblebee, I think, is Travis Knight. I think brought this franchise back to just it grounded. It brought it back. It needed this to be revitalized after the last night and getting back in the public appeal. I think Haley Steinfeld is great as Charlie. I love her relationship with Bee. I didn't think we'd have a better relationship between Bumblebee and someone else, but here we are. Great coming of age story. I like how her arc was integral to her saving Bumblebee, of her, getting back into it, swimming again after her loss of her father.
Yeah, nice little callback.
Yeah, I think the connection between them is the best part here. I love the G1 designs. I love the retro look of this movie. And it's just a really fun, wholesome. It's very earnest and wholesome. I think that's the best way to describe this film. There's a lot of great moments that are just, and the villains are cool too. Dropkick and Shatter. They're pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. The first scene we get when they shoot and they blow up humans. They pop.
Yeah, they popped. Yeah. I was not expecting
and
that.
And this scene has
in a Bumblebee movie.
This might have the best intro of all the movies with the Cybertron fight.
Cybertron one. I thought that was the best. Because obviously there's a lot of exposition. In these movies. But at least this way they were showing it instead of just talking over it. I'll save some of my points for my Bumblebee ranking.
Okay, cool.
But number 3 for me, Dark of the Moon. And I think the main reason why it is number 3 is just because I just enjoyed the other 2 more.
Okay, fair. That's fine. I think gonna bash this movie a little bit.
No, I'm honestly not gonna bash this movie. I think once again, its worst enemy is just like how long it is.
I disagree, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
listen, I think it's a one where it's like the long run time suits it well. But you knew that was going to happen. You knew how I felt.
Long,
I get it. That's how
Michael
everyone
Bay.
feels with these movies. This is, by the way, the Bumblebee, it's the clocks in at the shortest runtime of all of them.
Yeah.
Because they realize, oh shit, the last night and all those were like 2 hours and 40 minutes. So let's
crank it, dial it down.
Let's bring, let's let the fans know.
Yes.
We can make a 2 hour movie and it's fine.
And like, that's not, you guys know how I feel about long movies. I love long movies. Oppenheimer has been one of my favorite movies over the last century.
Yeah, of course.
So, I love a nice long movie, but just not when, it's Michael Bay.
All right.
But I'm going to say this. Dark of the Moon, by far the funniest one. I think this is the funniest Transformers movie.
I mean, the lines that like are just, I think I have some saved. Actually,
Please bring them up.
The first one is very funny as well.
It is.
And
well, the first three are funny just because, like, again, Shia LaBeouf, great characters. Anthony Anderson in the first one.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that first
We'll get into that.
Like there's just so many.
But I was busting out laughing when I was watching Dark of the Moon the other night.
Dark of the Moon
I was laughing out loud a lot.
Incredibly hilarious. Tell Megatron, let's tango. Like that, oh my. I mean, I will talk about Dark. I mean, I'll yap endlessly about Dark of the Moon.
Deep Wang.
Deep Wang. We have, what's the, when he's getting a job and he's like, the guy's like,
John Malkovich character?
Malkovich. Yeah. He's like, why does like Susan have a red cup on the yellow floor?
On the yellow floor.
And then like, that's a great joke.
Mm-hmm.
God, this film is so great. Like we'll save it for when I talk about it, but wow.
Okay. It's just the bathroom stall scene, fantastic. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the first act. I enjoyed the second act too. A lot of they did that. I saw Tyler's review of this movie. Did a lot of Forrest Gump shit where they're giving us the CGI presidents throughout the years.
Amazing. Oh my god, amazing.
I think at the end of the day, it's just like it's one of those Michael Bay movies that was just enjoyable. I had a good time. I laughed. I wasn't really like too connected with any characters. I fucking hated Patrick Dempsey, but that's what they wanted in a good way.
He's great in this film, I think.
Stupid as fuck though. Like, what, you really gonna make a deal with?
Yeah, his whole
he wants the reasoning is kind of
he wants to like make a deal, so like they bring Cybertron here and like
and he survives on Cybertron.
He doesn't get to be a slave to these guys, and I'm like, okay.
Like his reasoning is very,
and like he's been connected with all of them throughout the. Yeah, there's some really good scary moments in this film with that laser beak or whatever. I'll get into that later, but yeah, I mean, good to see that you liked it though. I was worried that you were about to like be
no.
I feel like no one can hate Dark of the Moon besides Tyler though. Tyler hates
he hates it.
Yeah, I think he gave that a half star, and I think he also gave Rise of the Beast half star.
He gave it half. Wait, let me see.
I think let me see. Shout out to my boy Tyler.
Maybe changed his mind. He gave it 2 stars.
Okay, never mind. So but check Rise of the Beast. I think that's what he gave a half star.
Okay.
He hates these movies for the most part. I think
I remember that. Let me see. Rise of the Beast.
Which is a stark contrast because I mean George likes these, like the first one, and I think he likes Dark of the Moon.
George fucking loves the first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Who doesn't? I think he gave it a 5 star now.
He gave. Let's see. Tyler gave Rise of the Beast 1 star. But see, and then I have a friend that gave it 4 stars. Like, this is baffling to me. I think Rise of the Beast kind of is all over the place when it comes to my friends on Letterboxd. Audience, like I said earlier, audience score was the highest out of all of them. But,
I wouldn't see that one as the polarizing one, though. That's
Kit
weird.
Laser, 2 stars. Then my other friend, 4 stars. Seth, 1.5 stars. You, 3.5 stars. And then me, actually, I haven't rated it because I was hiding it. Cinema Joe, 2.5. Chris, 3. So it's like kind of all over the place for Rise of the Beast. Dark of the Moon. Also, why do they call it Dark of the Moon? Isn't it Dark
Side of the Moon?
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, but like Dark of the Moon, like fucks. Like that name just rocks. Like that's like that Dark of the Moon.
Bro, what do you mean Dark Side of the Moon? Sounds fire.
Nah, but Transformers Dark Side of the Moon or Dark of the Moon. Yeah.
I don't know.
Minimalism.
Or maybe what about Transformers Dark Moon?
No.
That sounds racist in some
Dark
sort
Moon?
of way.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Average Letterboxd score for Dark of the Moon is 2.5.
Well, that's disgusting. That's just people that don't know ball. But we'll get into it later.
But I know George likes Dark of the Moon too.
Yeah, no, I made him. I think what was the bet? It was we played each other in fantasy, and I won. And I was like, he was like, if I think I made the bet with him, and I was like, if I lose, I'll give Interstellar 5 stars. That's a whole other thing, guys.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
And if he loses, he gives Dark of the Moon 5 stars. And that's what happened. He put it, and he actually wrote like one of like his like most thoughtful.
He tweeted it.
Yeah, I know. And people were like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yo, did Alex hack his account?" And I was like, it was one of the most thoughtful reviews that he's made. And I was like, "Oh shit, he actually believes this."
I enjoyed this movie. I'm not.
As you
I
should.
just don't really have like. I don't have anything to like really hate on it. Like, there's nothing I hate about this movie as opposed to things that I do hate for some of the other ones. Other ones, yeah.
But yeah, Bumblebee, I think, solid. Travis Knight got his back here. I think like John Cena's cool too. Like as the agent, he's a charisma overload. Like I said, this is just a fun little film here. I think they did right getting this franchise back to its roots. Bumblebee getting his time to shine. I think if you were to give a Transformer his own film from this franchise that was an Optimus,
had to be Bumblebee.
Had to be Bumblebee.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, yeah, I just thought, I thought it was really cool. I like the Bumblebee design a lot. I love that we get to hear him speak at first, and then we see how he loses his voice.
Yes.
And how once he loses his voice, how like adorable he is. He's like a little. Yeah, he's a bit pooky. I'm not gonna lie. He's adorable.
Yeah,
and him becoming, he's saving Charlie at the end. Like it's just great. It's great.
All right, let's move to number 2 then.
And then 2 is 2 is Transformers 1. It's the first one.
2 for me is Bumblebee.
Wow,
I really enjoyed Bumblebee.
We're on the same page though.
What's that?
We're on the same page. We think it's
no, I mean, very ground level Transformers. It wasn't this. Oh, this key is going to either destroy the human species, the human race, or let's bring back Cybertron or whatever. A very ground level Transformers movie, which I really enjoyed. We're mainly focused on Bumblebee. We get a nice little origin story of Bumblebee. Great designs. Love the designs of the Transformers in this movie. We only get like 2 Decepticons, which I thought was a nice change of pace. But like for me with a movie, when I tend to really enjoy a movie, it's when I can feel emotionally connected to a character. And I thought this had the best human to Transformer relationship out of the whole franchise with Charlie and Bumblebee. Which is, it's probably something that a lot of people wouldn't have expected with, how much screen time Shia LaBeouf had and, like B's his car, and that's the OG relationship. But I really loved Charlie and Bumblebee in this movie. It was adorable.
They get a lot of moments together. Like the beach scene is really wholesome. Like I said, the ending, they felt like they were very connected. And it
is a really wholesome movie.
And at the end where, I mean, like he starts talking again through the radio, but he's playing one of her like movies that she like recommended to him. It was like, it's just really wholesome. Or it might've been one of the songs.
She's like, you're listening to.
Yeah. It's just, I rewatched it today actually.
Really? Very wholesome movie.
It makes me feel warm inside.
Yes.
And I really hope we get more Haley Steinfeld in this universe. I don't know if we will, but
I hope so.
Yeah, this was a good change of pace compared to the world's gonna blow up because Cybertron's coming back.
Yeah.
Should I talk about Transformers 1? Should we talk about the Godfather of the first one?
It is the Godfather.
It is the original. I mean, what more can I say other than like this film rocks. This film is so amazing. This is a landmark point in cinematic history because it is one of the best looking films ever.
Mid-2000s CGI is just
on a different level. Peak. Pirates of the Caribbean stuff like this, like it's so on a different level. Spider-Man 2, like just stuff that just
like
looks,
where did we go wrong?
I mean, for big blockbusters, I don't know.
But where did we go wrong? Like, what was that turning point? Like, is it
shortcuts? People just want to like use too much CGI and
getting cheaper. And
do I say it?
Say it.
Do we have the MCU to blame for this?
Oh, about the visual effects issue?
Do we have
CGI?
Because they are the kings of. I mean, they started off obviously Iron Man looked amazing, and then as time goes on, they realized, oh shit, we can make these. I mean, they're always going to turn a profit, but we can make these for less, and they can look a little shoddier, and we can make it quicker and get it out faster. I'm not going to be that guy. I love the MCU, but I'm just saying there is a correlation between those movies getting bigger and CGI stuff getting more rushed and not looking as good. I'm just saying.
Yes, that is a conversation to be had that I think you could make that point.
Yeah, but it's a trend to hate on the MCU now, so I'm not going to do that. We love the MCU still, but
bro, the Transformers look beautiful. Like the action's beautiful. If you showed this to an alien, you'd be like, damn, this movie this is gotta be the newest techgony. Had to come out. Yeah.
Like it's unreal. And like I said before, with the first time we see Bumblebee, that's how you introduce a Transformer. When they're all coming together, the lighting, it's all on him. It's just like it feels so grand. It feels like, oh my God, my eyes need to be, I'm locked in with this. Holy shit, this is a landmark point in cinematic history. And it's a very simple, like, once again, like coming of age, like Sam becoming this, like, from like, you know, nobody to like, oh, I'm saving the entire city. All the Autobots, I mean, seeing Optimus for the first time,
bro.
I love how intricate the transformations are in this film compared to the later ones. When we first see Optimus, when he talks, when he's like,
"Are you Ladies Man 217?"
No, the barricade one. When Optimus is like, oh wait, that's a different one. The one where he's like, I am Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
He's like, are you a Sam Wiki or whatever the hell it is? When they first meet in the alleyway, crazy. When Optimus transforms the first time, I think oh my God, I don't imagine. I want that back in theaters. It's like the 40th anniversary of Transformers. Put these movies back in theaters. Like, I don't know what we're doing.
If they release that in IMAX, I would 100% go see it.
I think everyone would go see these movies back in IMAX. I don't know what they're doing. Michaela, I think, is great. I think, like, I like her. Like, obviously, like, Michael Bay had her here for the sex appeal, but like she's more than that in this film. Like, I like the first scene. I mean, like, when we see her, like, she's fixing a car and everything. I mean, it's like obviously iconic for a lot of horny people's reasons.
That's my Letterboxd poster.
Lily at the end of this film she's with Bumblebee with driving a car, saves him, and like they're shooting around the city, like shooting Decepticons. I'm like, this is badass.
Yeah.
Agent Simmons, unhinged still. When Sector 7, the first time we see him, oh my God, you know when they're like testing the Transformers Allspark tech to like, oh, put your phone in there. He's like,
Nokia.
You get Nokia, and he's like, oh, the Japanese, they know the way of the samurai. I'm like, why are you saying this? Why?
And then wait, wasn't the other girl? She's like, I think it's German.
Yeah, she's like,
isn't Nokia German?
I think some of my favorite lines from this thing, if I can find it.
Anthony Anderson was fantastic.
And now I'm gonna say it.
Why did they bring him back?
Let's make a clippable moment, because Transformers 1 should be quoted so much more, and Anthony Anderson has a big part, because the fact that I ate the whole plate, the whole plate is not a renowned quote that everyone just knows and we can say freely is beyond me. It's blasphemous.
Where are the TikTok sounds of Anthony Anderson from Transformers 1?
I ate the whole plate. It's so useful. Oh shit! And Thanksgiving, just finished my thing. I ate like 3 plates. I ate the whole plate. The whole plate.
Oh shit!
Oh my God! It's amazing. He's so funny. The first thing we see when they break into the CIA breaks it out, he's like, ah! They jump into the pool.
Shut up, Grandma.
Shut up, Grandma. Oh, also this movie has so like Bernie Mac's cameo,
bro.
Oh my!
Uncle Bobby B,
Uncle
baby.
Bobby B, Uncle Bobby B. Oh my!
These are two of the greatest characters in the whole franchise. What's his name? Anthony Anderson's name in this one?
Oh, I don't remember. No, I hold on.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Let me. You want to guess it, or I'll give it to you.
You gotta give it to me.
Pause. Let me find this thing. let me find it. I lost it. I believe Glenn
and Uncle Bobby B, bro. Uncle Bobby B had me dying. Also, Bernie Mac, man. R.I.P. Because like I see so many Bernie Mac clips on TikTok now. I'm like, damn, this was comedy right here. This is what comedy was.
One of the best ever.
Yeah. If I had a rock, I'd bust your head, bitch.
Oh my God, it's so amazing. And also this film like follows we follow like 3 different parties of characters. We have Sam and Michaela, right, and all that. And then we have Glenn and the Australian girl, right? She's Australian British. I think she's Australian.
She's gotta be Australian.
Who we never see again, by the way. I don't believe.
They
just disappear.
Her and Anthony Anderson just disappear.
And they're big pivotal parts of like cracking the code of like what Decepticons are. And then we also have the military people with like Lennox and Tyrese's character. But yeah, we follow those guys. I like the military scenes when they're on the desert. I thought that was really cool. The first time we ever see, actually, now I realize the Transformers, when we see, I believe it's Blackout in the helicopter. That is one of the best intros to Transformers I've seen as well. Like, or intros to any character like ever, because the fact that that's our first thing and it's like horrifying. It's like the transformation is really cool. It's intricate, and then he just destroys everything.
There's some fantastic visuals, and the one I'm thinking of is when I think his name is Bone Crusher. Bone on the highway.
Oh yes, yeah. The highway
and
scene
he just ramps through that bus.
Fun fact: I don't know if this is true. Don't quote me, but I feel like I heard it before. I think Michael Bay, for that scene, they told him like, if you want to split the bus in half, it's gonna break a camera. To get the shot, and I think he's like, yeah, do it, and we'll get another camera or something like that. That might be a different movie, but one of those action set pieces, he believed he broke a camera to get like the crazy shot because it looks unreal on the highway.
It does,
and that's what he does. He's just one of the goats of action. That's what he does. That's what he does. That's what he gets paid to do.
Yeah, people give the first 2 Bad Boy movies shit as well. I'm like, those are fucking.
I haven't seen 2.
Movies.
Fun fact: I've seen I believe nearly every Michael Bay film but Bad Boys 2.
I think 2 is the lowest rated, but
I heard it's like the best.
2's my favorite, but I think it's the lowest rated.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at my Michael Bay rankings, we'll see. I think I have nearly all of them ranked. I mean, we'll do that after. But yeah, this film is just it's a magical experience. Like I said, when it comes to making a blockbuster, Michael Bay's your guy, and that's what a blockbuster should be.
Yeah, loved Sam, the introduction to like Sam's parents in this as well. You know, I've heard some people don't like the cringe jokes, the cringe mom jokes, but I'm like, bro, I don't know what your mom's like, but my mom, she's making those jokes to me. She does the same shit. The masturbation jokes, yeah.
He's like,
maybe that happened. Maybe that happened in my household, but.
Oh, also that scene too where the Autobots are sneaking around the house and they break things. Like, oh, I'm sorry. He like breaks the fountain.
You stay off my grass.
Yeah,
that's why I made the walkway.
Earthquake, we're going aftershock. He's in the tub. Oh my god,
dude, his parents are fantastic.
I love how the historical change of making the Hoover Dam, where they hid Megatron and Sector 7, because why not?
Yeah.
Also, Bumblebee pissing on Agent Simmons. That's another iconic moment from this thing. The end third act is amazing.
Here we go. The underage shit again, where Simmons was like, she's a criminal. Criminals are hot.
Oh no, yeah. What they once again, man. These guys, they're just it's unreal. But yeah, this is what a blockbuster is, man. That's what it should be.
It is indeed a blockbuster, and there's no way around that. Like this is a blockbuster movie right here. This was just like peak mid 2000s movie. You know, I said this about Disturbia as well, which came out same year. Shia LaBeouf as well.
I just recently saw that like 2 months ago.
Really? Yeah, same.
That film is also. I think it's good, but it's also like
it's just entertaining. Yeah, like it's just pure entertainment.
But now, my thought process is like, oh, this girl just fell in love with her stalker. And I was like, oh shit, this is like weird. I'm like, oh, let's not do that. Never mind.
But it's just the Shia LaBeouf factor. Mid 2000s.
One of the best twists too. Like you have to watch it, but like you know what I mean. Where like shit just goes crazy.
I enjoyed it.
But now is number one.
Number one,
the piece de résistance of the Transformers franchise. I mean, you already know what I'm about to say. Transformers Dark of the Moon is a masterpiece. It is the quintessential action blockbuster, and it
5
is the
stars
best
for
one.
you.
5 stars. It's not even a debate for me. It's the easiest 5-star I've ever had to give.
Easiest 5. So what is it that makes this movie 5 stars for you?
There's just it's the most grandiose set pieces of action you'll probably ever see put to screen. It's bad shit. It's absolutely bonkers. It is so much more though than just the visuals and the action, right? We're delving into themes of. I got my review here. Well, let's talk about this. Let's got my note points right here. There's a lot here, and as far as real world issues, like Sam getting a job after college and like the job system, and this commentary of its neglect towards its veteran heroes in America, where Sam just saved the world twice, and he can't get a job.
Yes,
he can't. He has a present for the medal. It means nothing. And I think that's just very like it's underlying stuff, but it's very important that like this is stuff that happens.
You know, that's probably a point that goes by a lot of people's heads too.
Because these films are very military, like, important. And think about it, like Sam does all this, he still can't get a job. And I mean, as a guy that's a recent graduate, soon to be out of college, I was watching this. I'm like, this film,
let me tell you,
like tough, Francis Ha of like, you know, Francis Ha. Like when I'm thinking about like films, I'm like, oh shit, at post college, what am I gonna do? I can't get a job. And like, you know, I think of those, which is funny. But Dark of the Moon just really hones in like a lot of stuff like that. I think it's one of the most socially conscious post 9/11 films to like display terrorism on a city and like how fast an incident traumatizing and horrifying it can really be. Like when you go to that Chicago scene, like you said before, it's like horrifying. It's probably because, you know, films have done this thing where like they try to replicate of like what happened in 9/11, right? Try to portray it on film. And I think it does it very well of like how horrifying something like that can be in the city. And it's visually stunning. Like I said, they have the Transformer bots that are like flying in the sky that are basically from the Avengers movie. You know what I'm talking about? They look exactly the same. But it's
when the building collapsed in that one twisty wraps around the building.
Oh the cool. Worm that Shockwave has. The visuals are stunning. But yeah, I think there's a lot more than what meets the eye.
Okay, I'm liking these points. I'm liking these points.
This film, I think. I love Carly. I mean, she is basically Megan Fox's character, and they've gone out and say they wrote it for her, but she obviously in this film. But what's her name? Because I know it's Jason Statham's wife, but let me give her credit. She
really?
Yeah, she rocks. Rosie Huntington Whiteley. She is great in this film. One of the cool characters. I mean, if you look at her character though, she loves cars.
Also, one of the most relatable things too is when Sam was getting jealous of her boss.
Yeah.
It's like he gave you a car. This car is $200,000.
Yeah. But yeah, him also, another point, like I said, with the veterans thing, of the neglect of the veterans in this nation that we tend to have. I like how Sam is having a hard time functioning after a war. This is a lot of times I feel like for military veterans
finding their purpose
after that.
Yes.
They just dedicated all their lives to saving others, and then, oh shit, what do I do now?
You hear about
Sam
that a lot.
finding his purpose. And that was really cool to see. And I mean, drifting away from the serious stuff, this film is hilarious.
It is.
I just thought of it right now. When he's kicking the car, you know what I'm
That's
talking
your
about?
favorite scene,
That's my
bro.
favorite. I post on Twitter. It's like my
That blew up on Twitter.
I got like 30K likes. I was like, but like people realize that scene bangs. That scene is hilarious. And then right after, I don't know if it's right after, but when they realize the Decepticons are back and they go to that to meet up with a Bumblebee and everyone, when they put his car on that like platform and they're like totaling it, and he's like, "Do not touch my car. It's a collector's item." That is a great scene. That shit is hilarious. And then we get into the part where he's like talking to Bumblebee. He's like, "Oh, you don't want to talk to me anymore? You too busy? You too busy for me now?" Which is just great.
When they pull up to their base, and he's like, "What, sanitation? You need a nursing degree or something?"
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, dude, Sam. He's one of the best." I feel like Shia LaBeouf is just like in these movies is just so clever and
yes,
off the cuff,
that's what I'm saying. Just like Shia
just
LaBeouf just being so natural on screen.
I love the integration of, like I said, the history, making JFK and the moon landing and all that a part of Transformers lore is just genius. What else do I have here that I mean, Sentinel Prime, we gotta get into him. Probably one of the best villains in this franchise by far, who has actual good motivations. And it's funny because Megatron takes a backseat to him. He's basically Megatron. But I love the foreshadowing of his character turning Sentinel. They literally, and one of the earlier scenes, they're watching television, they're watching Star Trek. And do you remember the scene on the couch where the Transformers are talking? He's like, "I think this is one where Spock goes bad. Spock goes nuts."
Yeah, now I remember that.
Leonard Nimoy voices Sentinel Prime. It's amazing. It's amazing foreshadowing. I think they also, remember he's like talking about, Sam says something to someone about like, "Oh, will you run the Starship Enterprise?" or something like that. They make a lot of like, neat little references to that. But yeah, his heel turn, rip the boy Ironhide, man. I'm gonna get a little emotional thinking about it. Oh my god, like that broke me. I'm not gonna lie in theaters, because not only that, they don't mention him anymore after that, which pisses me off. That's my one big gripe with this film.
Quickly.
It happens so quick and suddenly because Sentinel has this like rusting, decaying gun, and it just the change of pace. It kicks in overdrive at that point, which is really cool. The DC set piece where Megatron shoots out the Lincoln statue and sits on it, and then they open up the portals and all the Decepticons and every Transformers coming through, and Optimus is like panicking. He's like, "No, no, Sentinel, no." But yeah, the fight scenes are the best in this, I think, by far. Like Optimus mowing down those Decepticons in like in a line. You remember talking about where like Sam goes, "Optimus," he flies in, and it's like him just mowing down
part of the movie.
The third act. He's just in a straight line, just mowing down Decepticons. Please tell me you know. If you have to look it up after this, if you don't remember. But it's one of the best scenes by far. And then he kills Shockwave. The Shockwave worm when they're wrapping around the building and they're trying to like is amazing, phenomenal.
That is really good.
Final fight, Sentinel versus Optimus, and then Megatron. Oh my god, yeah.
That was one other thing. I'm like, okay, Carly just
saved the city.
Convinced Megatron to get his ass up
because he's egotistical, and then she goes, "You're just Sentinel's bitch," which I'm glad someone called it out. He's been a bitch these last two movies.
Yeah, been a bitch.
It awoke him. He saves Optimus. Now we meet a truce. And then, listen, they did my boy Megatron dirty, but like just the fact that it makes Optimus Prime look this badass. Like Optimus is missing an arm, right?
Yes.
And he's like, "Well, where would you be without me, Prime?" And he's like, "Time to find out." And then just that
line was cold.
He's just cold. That just one of the coldest characters by far. Oh my god, I'm gonna rewatch that when I go home, bro. This movie is so gas. It is so visually stunning. Like I said before, I mean, I said it in my review. If you go to Letterboxd, Alex Coleman with 2 N's. I said it. Dark of the Moon is a quintessential American blockbuster film.
You know, and I do like the points that you bring up about, you know, it might take a second watch or a third watch to point out those little foreshadowing things or little hidden messages in there.
It's there's a lot here.
It's always good to watch a movie a couple times to see if you can pick up on some of those things.
Yeah, it's like how I feel with like Dune or something.
Oh,
give Dune a chance. I know a lot of people don't like. At first I watched. I mean, I've seen it like 8 times now. The first one.
Yeah.
The Dune 2 I've seen 6 times at theaters. Yeah, I know I'm insane. But Yeah, I mean, I watched it during the COVID period where like theaters were like kind of like it was 2021. It was kind of iffy whether or not you could go, and I saw it 2 times. I still didn't really understand the lore. It's like a whole new thing. There's a lot to digest. I was like, let me watch it again. It's just only gotten better because I kept giving it another chance. Like, it's not gonna work for every film, but like I think this one, give it another chance. I feel like it's a lot of bad of mouth, which ruins this one's legacy, which is just I think it's just really good.
Yeah, with those Doom movies. I mean, I loved them from the first watch, but I love them even more the more I watch it.
Every time it gets better.
Every single time.
Like this one. Like this Transformers movie.
So number one for me is the OG Transformers movie.
Fair.
OG Transformers movie. I mean, what's not to love? Peak 2000s.
Yes.
CGI just transcending.
It's unreal.
It really is.
And it's just like the way it blends in with our real world. Like you wouldn't be able to tell this is like, it's just
no.
And that's what we're missing in today's world, which obviously, I mean, we're getting avatars, which is like, changing the game as well. But like mostly a lot of blockbusters now, they don't get it.
No.
They don't get it like Michael Bay gets it, like I keep saying. They don't get it. And that's why Michael Bay needs to have every reign to every action film ever. Watch Ambulance. It slaps if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Ambulance. That's one with Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah, tap in.
One
of the best action films of the last 10 years. But yeah, Transformers 1. I mean, keep going. You keep glazing this film. It deserves it.
No, and one thing that I love too that I think kind of falls off as the franchise goes is the music. I think the music is really good. And I've talked about this a few times where a score is, for me, it's like the second most important thing in a movie. I think a score can elevate the movie to another level just because I think it can elevate the storytelling to another level. It's part of the storytelling. And bro, the Arrival theme, when they're coming to Earth, gets me chills every time.
I get goosebumps because like once again, that's like I think on the head with that. I think it's like the most important for movies is like it's visuals and it's score,
right?
Because those two together can create the best moment like you'll ever watch on screen.
Yeah, just obviously, finding that medium of visual.
Obviously writing, but like I mean, once again, it's a visual medium, and I'm watching this film, and I just can't help but like literally be gobsmacked watching this film every single time. And it's 2007. Think about it. Yeah. So there's no excuse now. Except for the fact that the VFX workers need to get paid more and they need to work less hours that are like disgustingly rigorous. But
and that's probably why it
looks amazing because they probably like back then because they probably had a lot more time. Probably got paid more,
which is crazy.
Paid what they should. But yeah, oh my god,
Shia LaBeouf. I know we've been glazing him throughout this episode, but like
Shy Glaze,
he's just so natural on screen and a great character. Very relatable character.
Yeah.
Great high school scenes, chasing after the girl, Megan Fox. Like, bro, we were all there at one point.
Dorky kid or whatever, trying to get the girl. And he
all
does
there
it.
at one point.
I mean, he has to save the city to do it, but sure, it's fine.
And like, love the history too with his great grandfather, going into the Arctic Circle and having that map on his glasses. I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting. I love the fictional history with like, almost like Cold War history where, we know these things have been here. Government, that's another underlying theme. Government, hiding shit from us. Yeah, conspiracies. So and like you said earlier with them building the Hoover Dam to protect this Allspark and Megatron. And it's just a fun ride, bro.
It really is. And like we haven't got like the nitty gritty stuff like Bumblebee Bumblebee being the yellow Camaro, one of the most iconic things in all of cinema, by the way. Like when you see that car now,
that was fantastic product placement.
Yeah, when you see, like that's the best. I think it's the best product placement ever. Like when you think of that car, you think Transformers. You think of Transformers. You think of Bumblebee. Same with like a truck. I feel like some people just think Optimus Prime still. Like it's just like
100%.
It's genius. And I mean, it's just so well done when they first arrive to Earth and they're all scanning and they're becoming like, when they first arrive and it's like an alien, like one's coming out of the pool.
Yeah.
And the kid looks, it's just,
and the music behind it, bro.
Yeah. The Arrival is, it's
fantastic. Theme.
It's just, we need more of it. We need more of that. Not Last Night. We need more of that.
Do you mind it ending by Sam pushing the Allspark into Megatron's chest to kill him?
Yeah, if it's the narrative, the story of him, I think it works because that plays into Dark of the Moon of him being the hero constantly, and then I think it works.
Yeah,
I didn't have a problem with it, and also like it just makes the human characters have a purpose. Like I don't like if you're gonna have these movies, which like there's a lot of movies with human and CGI characters like a Sonic or like Smurfs or like what I mean, like those movies that like have a that, and they have to put humans in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it works for that. It works for that.
I really like the military characters that we get too.
Yeah,
Josh Duhamel.
Lennox is great.
Tyrese Gibson.
Yeah, he's great too. Noble people. Oh, it opens also. Another great line. Well, not great line, but like, oh my God, when they're on the plane and it's just like, he's like, English, do you speak it or something like that? What does he say? When he's speaking Spanish to him, and the other guy's like, he's like, just speak English. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, there's so unhinged in this film, bro. But it's stupidly hilarious, I won't lie.
End of the day, it's a very American movie.
Yeah, military propaganda left and right.
Yeah.
Or is it? Because when you think of Dark of the Moon.
Whoa.
Michael Bay's
a little bit of a twist there.
Michael Bay does
it's a process.
And also, back to Ambulance, by the way, because I'm a Michael Bay guy. That film is also do with like neglect towards like heroes and like the guy, they have to like rob a bank because they need money, and he like, yeah, that's a, you know, that's a, once again, this guy, Michael Bay, he may not seem like he knows what he's doing through all the misogyny and racism, stupid jokes in his movies sometimes, but like there is something there.
Like Bad Boys too.
Yeah, like
there's something there.
I think it's just a product of his time, honestly. That's what it,
right.
You know, people were a lot more.
And I feel like that's how I think that's what makes the greatest movies of all time the greats, is because they are timeless. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean movies that are a product of their time bad. They can still be good, but yeah, it's a product of their time, so it's not going to be the same. But that is what makes the greats is because they're timeless movies. Yeah. All right, let's get to some rankings of the designs. Ooh. All right, well, let me just go over the rankings real quick. So, for my ranking, I had The Last Night in last place, 6th, Age of Extinction, 5th, Rise of the Beast, might get some heat, 4th, Revenge of the Fallen. It's a childhood classic.
Fair.
3rd, Dark of the Moon. I think Dark of the Moon loves coming around. 2, Bumblebee. Fantastic movie to me. A very enjoyable ground level Transformers movie. And number 1, the classic OG Transformers.
So for me, last at 7, we have The Last Night. I mean, perfect name for that. 6, we have Age of Extinction. 5, we have Rise of the Beast. 4, we have Revenge of the Fallen. 3, we have Bumblebee. 2, we have the OG Transformers. And then number 1, of course, unequivocally, unapologetically, the best one by far, Transformers Dark of the Moon. So the highest rated on IMDb is the OG Transformers. That's valid. Highest critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is Bumblebee at 90%. Fair. I can see why that's like that.
I can see why.
Because the Bay films they're very polarizing, I feel like, besides maybe the first one, but they're all very, even still that one's very polarizing. And Bumblebee is the most safe choice to pick.
Yeah, I agree. Highest audience score is OG Transformers at 85%.
I get it.
Yeah.
What's Dark of the Moon? Like 40%, 50%? I know it's like it's a rotten, I know, because they're delusional.
Yeah, Dark of the Moon critic score is 35%. Audience score is 55%.
Yeah, man. Well, I won't what they're smoking because like I'm speechless at that. Every time I look at it, I'm like, what are you?
Hey, it's also the highest grossing movie of the franchise.
Because
so gotta say something too.
The people know like I said, quintessential American blockbuster. You'll look to Dark of the Moon and be like, yeah.
All right, let's go over some rankings of the designs. I want to go over the rankings of the Optimus Prime designs because it's Optimus Prime. Got to do that. And Megatron, and then I'll let you spit with your top 20 ranking of the designs.
All right.
So I kind of want to go over Megatron first, actually.
All
right. So we have 5 designs of Megatron. Give me your worst to best Megatron designs.
Ooh. I guess the worst might be the first movie.
Really?
Listen, but Galvatron. You know what? Here's what I'll do.
Okay.
I'm going to go Galvatron last because it's not really Megatron, but it still looks cool. I don't think I hate it. Then we have the OG.
Yep.
OG's. Some people hate it, but I mean, I think it's classic. I think it's just, it works for the film. Then we have, this is a good one. I think I'll go Last Night.
Okay. At number 3.
Last Night with his like knight design.
Yep.
He has a sword. It looks pretty cool. Then we'll go Revenge of the Fallen, the one where he has like an arm missing, basically. It's like a tank, flying tank. That looks pretty cool. And then we'll go number 1 by far. Nomad Dark of the Moon, Megatron. He is so badass with that cloak over his head. Half of his face is like getting fixed by those with that Dr. Robot. It's amazing. It looks great.
All right, last place I do have Galvatron just because
it's too not
it's
him.
too like shiny and
Yeah, I get that.
and different.
I still
mean,
like it,
again,
though.
I'm not like a Transformers lore guy, so I don't.
They all look nothing like him. Like they all look
Okay,
nothing like
okay.
Megatron from like G1 or whatever.
Yeah, so I have that in last place. After that, the rest of the designs I don't hate.
Yeah.
4, I have Revenge of the Fallen. 3, I'm gonna go The Last Knight.
Mm.
2, I'm gonna go OG Transformers.
Yeah.
I like, he's got an arm in that one. So
They also just like, yeah.
But I like the plane he transforms into as well.
Yeah.
I really do.
Dope.
I think I remember playing as. Do you remember that OG Transformers game?
Yeah.
I had it on PSP.
Oh,
I had it on PSP.
I had PS2. I had all of them. I still had the Dark of the Moon one.
There's a game of that?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta
It's
cop
badass.
that.
You get
Damn.
to play as both Optimus and you get to play the Decepticons and
Dude, those Transformer games are fun.
You get to play as Mirage.
There needs to be a discussion of is 2000s the greatest decade?
Low key.
I don't know,
Low
man.
key?
It might be.
I don't know.
Might be.
I was a baby though until like the later parts,
And then number 1, I got Dark of the Moon.
Of course.
That is
Like
a
I said,
badass design.
Cloak.
Yeah.
He just looks sick, and he turns into a truck,
Yes.
which is like perfectly countering Optimus. It looks great. It looks great.
It was great. All right, Optimus Prime designs ranked.
Oh, we have Oh, we actually have all of them.
He's in all 7.
He's in all of them.
But some of them are pretty similar.
Yeah. So like Rise of the Beast looks very similar to
Bumblebee.
because it is the same, but they're
Right.
all different. Ooh, that's a good one. I guess last I'll go. Ooh, I don't know. Do you have a clear last?
I have a clear last.
What's your last?
Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
Bro, he got no waist.
Yeah, I'll give you that
He's
one.
got no waist. 7. Oh shit, which movies are these? Or 6, and then I think I have The Last Knight.
Yeah. I agree.
5, I have. They all start to get really similar, but like 5, I'll go Revenge of the Fallen. 4,
First one.
no, 4, Dark of the Moon.
Ooh.
3, I'll go Rise of the Beast. Wasn't my favorite movie, but I did like the design. 2, I'll go Bumblebee.
Oh.
And 1, I'll go OG Transformers. Just that's why I grew up with.
Mine's like the same. Last I'll go Last Night. 4. Actually no. Last I'll go Age of Extinction. 7. 6 I'll go Last Night because it's just full on samurai. I kind of liked it. Or Night. And then we have Revenge of the Fallen at 5 for that design. 4, I'll go OG Transformers 1.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of the G1 design. So I'll go Rise of the Beast then. After that, what is that, 3? Or 4?
I think that was 4.
3, I'll go again. Yeah, I'll go 3. I'll go the Dark of the Moon. I'll have number 1.
Okay.
Is Bumblebees.
You like Bumblebee number 1?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go Bumblebee. I'm just a big sucker for the blocky
G1,
retro G1 designs.
No, and they made it look very cool. Like it worked really well for that universe.
Oh no, it looks amazing.
Yeah. The Michael Bay Transformers, it is a cartoon, so I can see why they went with the designs that they did in the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
So then bring in this classic cartoon design into Bumblebee. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it can work.
Yeah,
it
was always going to be that way because the
Yeah.
modern audience at that time probably weren't, the general public weren't ready to see blocky, retro, cool designs, which is a shame. But we eventually got it, so it's fine.
Yeah. All right. So
you want to hear my top 20?
you got a top 20 Transformer designs from the franchise.
Honorable mentions Galvatron,
Okay.
Sentinel Prime, Dropkick and Shatter from Bumblebee. 20, we have a Ratchet from Age of Extinction. I like the neon glow of his design in that one. I just think he looks really cool before he gets just sad. 19, I have Mirage. He's like a cross between Bumblebee and Sideswipe, kind of, with like a sleek crimson design.
Yeah. Or like jazz a little.
Yeah. 18, I have Crosshairs. 17, Megatron from Last Night.
Okay. I like the
horns. Yeah. 16, I have Barricade from, I believe, Last Night. He might be in Age of Extinction, but I think it's Last Night. Last Night, Barricade. It's the police car, but this time he's blue.
Oh,
in this one.
yeah.
15, I have G1 Bumblebee Shockwave.
Okay.
14, I have Revenge of the Fallen Starscream because of the tattoos on his like body in that one, the designs.
Yeah, what they even pointed that out too is like, those are alien tattoos on that.
12, I have Megatron from Revenge of the Fallen. 12, I have, 13, I have Megatron from Revenge of the Fallen. 12, I have Lockdown. 11, I have Jazz from the first one. 10, I have Blackout, the helicopter one. Then we have 9, we have Megatron from Dark of the Moon.
Wow, number 9.
Yeah.
Ooh. I honestly thought that would be higher for you.
I honestly, looking back, I might have to put it higher, but right now we're sticking with it. Ironhide 8. Ironhide. And fun fact, I think the guns on his Autobot body took more, and like it took more to animate that than a lot of Transformers that we see. Like it has more animation parts than like a lot of like other miscellaneous Transformers we see. 7, we have Bumblebee from Dark of the Moon. Very sleek Camaro design. 6, we have Optimus from Dark of the Moon. 5, we have Barricade, because Barricade's cop thing is dope.
From the first one?
Yeah.
4,
we have Sideswipe. Wheels for feet, blades, sleek. I had his toy, dope. 3, we have Soundwave, G1 from Bumblebee. 2, we have Shockwave from Dark of the Moon, because that was sick. Tough.
Yeah.
But number 1, I have Optimus from Bumblebee, the G1 design.
Whoa.
You know. I had my, yeah.
Banger. Oh, yeah, you posted that?
Yeah.
It is a sick design.
Banger.
It is a sick design.
Those honestly
I like
look. I mean, I made the video
Bumblebee.
a year ago. I still think most of those would say the same. I think all those belong there, and then I'd probably make Megatron a little higher. But
from Dark of the Moon,
yeah, maybe a little higher. But like other than that, I think it says the same.
What was it? It was what, Shockwave from Dark of the Moon.
Amazing design, by the way. I have the toy still. I don't know where it is in my crib, but it's somewhere.
I'm gonna look that. Let me.
I used to have all those toys. I think I might have gotten rid of some.
Shockwave. Oh God,
tough, menacing.
Cyclops one eye, look, one eye, the horns,
horrifying.
Yeah, that'd be high for me. That might be top 5 for me.
And then Optimus was 1 because it's just Optimus.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. Transformers franchise ranking. You know, I think this is the first time ever on the channel that we've talked about Transformers.
Really?
I'm not even kidding.
You've been delaying this though for the inevitable, the Thanos of Transformers, Baver's Ball.
We are not like I said, we watched the first 2 religiously as kids. We had those on DVD, which is funny. I was just recently back in my parents' house, and I pulled out the DVD covers. I'm like, these are fucking steelbook designs. These are sick. Like the designs for the DVDs were amazing for the first 2. So yeah, we just watched those ones so much as a kid, and just I don't know what it was. Maybe I was young at the time, so I was like, "There's no Megan Fox." I'm like, "Oh, this is not even the same. I'm not even gonna bother. Not the same characters. This whole different thing." So then I just never saw 3 through Rise of the Beast. I do remember the 3rd one and the 4th one would always be on cable.
Yeah, like FX.
Yes, FX all the time. So I would see bits and pieces of the 3rd one. I remember I probably saw like, give or take 15 to 20 minutes of Dark of the Moon, just like watching from cable. But when I went back and watched it for like the first time front to back, it was like, I hadn't seen the movie at all.
Yeah, you were shell shocked. You texted me saying this is the greatest movie of all time. Misinformation, but
Deep Wang, greatest character of all
Wang.
time.
I might get that tattooed. Deep Wang.
Deep Wang.
Deep Wang. Deep. Oh yeah, when he like pulls at the guns too.
Try explaining that to you pull up to a bar trying to get a girl. What's this tattoo that says Deep Wang?
It's Deep Wang. It's Deep Wang.
Damn, yeah. First time we talked about Transformers on the channel. Got our franchise ranking. Alex's top 20 Transformer designs. Best Optimus designs, best Megatron designs. I think we're set for the Transformer content for a while.
We covered it all.
We got to talk about one thing before you go, though.
No, I know what you're going to do. And like, I don't need to get clip farmed, but I do.
You need to get clipped. This needs to get clipped.
Do you want to what are you going to ask me?
Interstellar.
Oh, brother.
How many stars you give it? 2?
2.5.
2.5? It's a mid movie to you?
But like, the thing is, I'm just very indifferent towards that movie. And I don't think it's a masterpiece. I'm sorry.
You know, I don't want to be the type of guy to come on here too and just like be like, well, if you don't like it, you're stupid. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that kind of guy.
So much, and
I'm sure you do.
Fair.
But why? What is it?
I just don't connect with the film at all, really. And also, it's just like I don't buy, like Nolan spells out the entire film a lot. It's very like hand holding of like how love saves the universe. Like, grow up. Sorry. And also like Timothée Chalamet's in it. Cool. As the son. We don't give a shit about the son, I guess. Like he gets phased out. Like his dad does not give a shit because it's about what's her name? Murph, please. Yeah. They're all good performances. I'm like watching this film like, I'll put on 2001: A Space Odyssey or something. I'd rather watch that, or like I'll watch Sunshine. Danny Boyle Sunshine. Okay. I put on that. I put on Ad Astra. There's plenty of space. Dark of the Moon. There's plenty of space movies I'd rather watch. That's just me though.
Dark of the Moon doesn't spell it. Actually, no, you did mention out some underlying themes in Dark of the Moon.
I told you.
I'll
like,
give
listen,
you that, bro. I'll give you that.
You thought I was gonna come here. Oh, visually stuff. No, I'd die for that film. But Interstellar, listen, if you like it, you're an idiot. No, I'm kidding. If you like it, you like it. I get it. I see why people like it.
What about the music? Do you like the music in it?
No.
Really?
The cornfield chase? I'm sorry, I don't listen to that shit at all.
Wow.
Tenet's soundtrack's better. I could get, you know what? I'll get thrown a bonus. I'll give you my Nolan rankings right now. It might cause like chaos.
Here we go. Bonus for the bonus for the episode. Nolan ranking for Alex Coleman. All right. Dark of the Moon apologist.
12, we have his first film Following. It's fine. 11, Insomnia. Pacino in a Nolan film, kind of crazy. It's just fine as well. 10, we have Interstellar. 9, we have Dark Knight Rises. 8, we have Dunkirk. 7, and soon to be Fast Rising when I rewatch Tenet. 6, we have Batman Begins. 5, we have The Prestige. 4, we have another fast and growing, but that will probably be number 2 or 1 soon, Oppenheimer. 3, I have Inception. I've just seen it more and I can't justify me putting it over Oppenheimer over it yet.
Okay.
2, we have Memento, masterpiece, and then 1, the film that I've seen probably the most in my life. That's not Dark of the Moon. The Dark Knight. Something about dark. Something about just darks. It's just like but yeah, amazing film.
We have a similar top 5 because 5 I had The Prestige, 4 Inception, 3 The Dark Knight, 2 Interstellar, and recently I did put Oppenheimer at 1 after I
get it because I think honestly when I rewatch it, it'll be like 2 or I don't know about 1. 1's just like Dark Knight. You can't replace childhood memories.
Dark Knight has been
there for a while.
Has been there for a while,
and once again,
special, and it's always going to be a special.
And it's
special
ingrained
film.
with like, I mean, we love comic book stuff.
Yeah,
Batman, Heath Ledger, Joker, and just the fact that like once again, I've seen this movie so many times growing up. It was a pivotal point of me getting into film even more. It's going to be hard to break it, but Oppenheimer is definitely giving it a run for its money if I rewatch. I think
Timothée Chalamet said The Dark Knight is what got him into acting.
I mean, hey, Timmy, Dune 3, Messiah.
Dune Messiah.
Look at me. I'll play a worm. I'll play your son. I'll play your son. I don't know how it'll work. Actually, you know what? It could work. But yeah, find a way to get me in there. I don't know.
Alex Muad'Dib.
It's my Twitter thing right now.
It is.
My Twitter ad's Dark of the Movie, and then my bio says Alex Muad'Dib Coleman or something like that.
Clearly, you can tell which movies he likes.
Dune pilled, and then Transformers.
That Matt guy on Twitter who's seen Dune in IMAX like 30 times. He's a trooper. He better get invited to Dune Messiah premiere.
Oh, everything. He's single-handedly funded. See, the thing is, I flew up to see it with George and Sophie. So I flew up to New York to watch that when it first came out, and then I saw it the first 4 opening days. So I was like 5 of 5. I was low key on the path to greatness. I had 5 rings early. Then I became washed. I stopped watching it for a little bit because I had to my bank account was looking bad.
We're funding Dune Messiah,
and then and then I saw it in England with friends as well. Shout out to Luke.
That was so annoying too because obviously we were seeing this movie multiple times. We were praising it, and here we go in the TikTok comments. There's no way y'all aren't paid. Like no way you guys are glazing this movie that hard.
I'm like, bro, I lost we'll just say an undisclosed amount on tickets alone and dude merch. Like
we've lost money.
I get it though. I mean, hey, if you want to hate, I respect hating, man. It's an art form. But like, it's just like, I did not get paid for this. I wish I did, but I still honestly, it wouldn't be glaze. Oh no, it would be glaze because I want to keep glazing this film till it ends. But
Well, folks, there you have it. Make sure you go follow Alex on TikTok, Instagram,
everything.
You name it.
I might be homeless soon because of the TikTok ban. So like, bless me with a follow, please.
Don't let him be homeless, please. Don't let me be homeless too, please.
You know that scene in No Way Home where he's like, "Mate, please, can you just say something, please?" It's gonna be me, like,
oh shit. But all right, man, great to have you on. Glad we finally got this collab in. Had to be Transformers,
it's an honor.
man.
It's an honor, truly.
Good to have you in the studio too.
Grateful.
All right, folks. Well, no, can't do the same outro because it's like I got to
do the Optimus outro. What does he say?
What's his? I don't fucking know. What's his outro?
Just play Linkin Park. Just say goodbye and say play Linkin Park.
Oh, you best believe for the intro and the outro, some Optimus Prime speech is getting played with Linkin Park in the background.
Oh, do I find
We
it?
are here.
We can cut like half the the space of like when I look it up.
We are waiting.
Oh, here we go. With all with with the Allspark gone, we cannot return to our life on our planet, and the fate has yielded its reward. A new world to call home. We live amongst its people now, hiding in plain sight, but watching over them in secret, waiting, protecting. Myself.
There you have it, folks. Linkin Park outro.
Bang.
See you next time on Blake's Takes, everyone.
Yeah.